if you eat like a bird and you eat really healthily, but you still can't get rid of the belly fat on love handles, and you are aware that maybe some of your hormones are misfiring, what would be the other strategies that you could implement? So let's look at the weight loss strategies that help you to burn the calories, and that will be thermogenesis, so thermo, heat, temperature, genesis, creation, muscle building, why actually you would want to have long, lean muscles with mitochondria, and if you are not a big fan of exercise, what is neat and how can you implement it so that you become a hybrid car, so you have this metabolic flexibility, and you improve your sleep. Sleep is very important, but also the growth mindset is important, because if you believe that you cannot do something or that you do everything correctly, then you will not see any change. So only growth mindset, being open to new possibilities, is the way to go. So what is thermogenesis? It is the ultimate weight loss hack. If you go to any longevity or biohacking conference, they will be talking about the thermogenesis and how you can do it in the optimal way. So you can do it through the controlling of the body temperature, diet, and exercise. So how can you do it? Through the body temperature. I am a big fan of Ronaldo. I watch him on Instagram, and he is doing the cryptotherapy. Crypto, money on my mind, right? No, it's cryotherapy. And it basically means that he is closed with his six packs just in the swimsuit for 3 minutes in a chamber that has minus 110 degrees Celsius. So you can imagine how cold it is. What is going to happen to him? He is going to shiver. And this shiver is basically going to, the muscle are going to burn all the energy, and the thermostat needs to get into like heating the body, right? So this is only for 3 minutes. And how often should you do it? Well, at least once a week. If you are starting, maybe you want to start just with a cold shower. Yeah, so cold shower, and then in the evening before you go to sleep, you can have, for example, hot bath or hot shower. You can also do sauna. So not in summer like now, because you can see that sauna is already here for me. But in winter, let's say every Thursday, I go to sauna. And what you want to do is 3 times 12 minutes in this 90 degrees Celsius sauna. Then you have to take either cold shower for like, let's say 30 seconds, or if you are more advanced, you will take a cold bath. The pools are usually around 8 degrees Celsius, and you stay there for maximum 3 minutes. So this change of the cold and hot is really beneficial. So this is to get the thermostat under control, right? And everything is starting with the thyroid hormones. So there are also special exercises that you could use, and that's when we are going to talk about the exercise later on. Now I also want to mention the hot spices. Yeah. So there are many products on the market that promise that it's going to burn the fat if you take it. But what does it usually contain? It's going to have some spices like red chili, pepper, ginger, curcuma, or cinnamon, because that is speeding up the metabolism and it improves the insulin sensitivity. So if you imagine, if you remember from some of my previous videos, I was talking about insulin resistance being one of the biggest problems of the weight gain, slow metabolism, low energy levels, losing the hair, and misfiring hormones. So basically, cinnamon improves the insulin sensitivity, which means it's kind of bribing the cells and says, please open the gate and take the glucose, the sugar, into the cell and turn it into the energy, right, in mitochondria. So that's why these hot spices are beneficial. You can also use, depending if you are healthy, some stimulants like green tea, coffee, or chocolate. But when you use these stimulants is very important, because, for example, I don't recommend drinking green tea as the first thing in the morning. First of all, it's not that you want to burn the calories from empty stomach. This tannins in the tea is going to like shrink and make the stomach work. So it might make you even feel sick. And also green tea is lowering the blood pressure, so you might feel dizzy. I recommend drinking green tea, for example, after lunch, which helps you to break down the food. Coffee, it's another topic. Can you drink coffee? Can you not drink coffee? The question is, why do you drink the coffee? Is it because of the pleasure, or is it because you need it? And how are you going to utilize this adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones that are going to stimulate you? So if you, for example, drink it in the morning and then you go for a run, it might be beneficial. If you drink coffee after lunch, it might be beneficial. It might help you to break down the food. But how many coffees? 2 maximum. Chocolate. If you suffer from headaches, migraines, histamine intolerance, food sensitivities, chocolate might not be a good choice of a stimulant for you. But if you are completely healthy, and we talk about the chocolate that is at least 85% of the cocoa mass, preferably 90, then having after your breakfast, if you did your exercise, or after lunch, maybe 2 squares of dark chocolate, it's not bad. So what is the common denominator of all of these activities that I mentioned so far? And if you are answering stress, you're right. But stress in this way, it's basically helping to build the resilience, right? So it's the adaptation. It's like a drill. You drill the body to be exposed to extreme, and then it can react in a better way. So now we look at, why do you want to build muscle? So building muscle for aesthetic reasons, just because it looks good, is not really the main reason. It is good, like it looks good, it helps you maybe to boost your ego or self-esteem. But the reason why we want to have a long, lean muscle, it's because it's a storage of energy. So we have storage of energy of the glucose, the sugar that you are eating in a carbohydrates. It's in the liver, 100 grams, approximately 400 calories. So even if you don't eat anything and you go for a run in the morning, 400 calories is enough for a 1 hour good fast-paced run. And if you say, well, and then I need to have something post or pre or this, no, because if you have a muscle mass, you have additional 1,600 calories, which is additional maybe 2 to 4 hours of exercise. So in theory, you don't need to eat anything at all, because your body has enough storage to get you through the exercise. That's why endurance athletes during a massive cycle, Tour de France, Giro d'Italia, they don't eat. They cycle for 8-10 hours, and they maybe have every 2 hours a little bit of gel, a little bit of glucose, which is still not enough. So they are trained to this. If you have some body fat, if you have like belly fat and love handles and you are trying to get rid of it, your aim is to deplete the glycogen stores, the glucose from the liver and from the muscle, and tap into the storage of fat. So if you are a hybrid car, your body is actually in a non-so hard workout, it's going to prefer to use fat as a fuel. So even the muscles are going to use fat, not sugar. If you get into a non-aerobic zone, when you are huffing and puffing, then the body is going to use the glucose from the glycogen. So for example, if you do yoga in the morning, right, you burn maximum 60 calories in 1 hour, but it doesn't matter about the calories. The thing is that during the exercise, you are using the storage of fat. If you want to make a combination in between this, you would want to do the high intensity interval training. So it's equal energy expenditure as 1 hour of running, but you do it in 7 to 10 minutes. So you make the absolute maximum, almost like you think you are going to die, of exercise for 15 to 30 seconds. And then you, for example, do, I don't know, some abdominal muscles, and then again, high intensity and abdominal. 7 minutes is enough, but every single day. But what if you don't like exercise? Well, there is also a solution. Because exercise is maybe like 5% of your time during the day, right? You make it in the morning and then it's it. But non-exercise activity, thermogenesis, is what you do during the day, how active you are. So for example, if you have if you do a manual job, you are, for example, a gardener, you are gardening for 8 hours. That is a lot of work because you are lifting and your cardio is up. It's in aerobic zone, so you don't have to huff and puff, but it's a slow and steady improvement of your metabolism. So if you are sedentary, slightly like me, doing these videos, then what you can do is try to think how you can schedule in your agenda some of these non-exercise activities. So I go, for example, for a walk with my dogs, or I can clean the house. That's the least favorite activity, but I do it. It takes me 3 hours and I burn some calories. Or cooking, because you are standing and kind of flowing in the kitchen. Or I cycle to Basel to my office. It's 10 kilometers, 2 hills, and it's a pretty good slow workout. Gardening, that's quite hard as well. Dancing or romance. So if you are in the second part of your follicular phase and approaching to ovulation, you can indulge into the romance and intimacy, and you're going to burn hell a lot of calories. And if you don't want to, then clean your house. So let's look at why it matters for women to know how to exercise based on the menstrual cycle. If you have watched some of my nutrition and hormonal yoga therapy workshops, you know that hormones are these chemical messengers, and it really matters a lot what you do and how you treat them. So this part is only for women that are menstruating. They have a regular menstruation, they are aware of their menstruation. It's unfortunately not anymore for menopausal women, and it's definitely not for women that are using a synthetic contraception. Doesn't matter if it's a mini pill or coil or any device. It is stopping and blocking the ovaries from ovulation. If you are not ovulating, and especially if you are using, for example, progestin. Progestin is not progesterone. Progesterone has many beautiful functions, but progestin is just a synthetic version that is only going to suppress and numb your cells, and it's not going to react to it. And then even the menstruation that you have, it's not a real menstruation. It's just created by the cycle so that you feel like you have menstruation. So a healthy menstruating woman knows that in a follicular phase 1, that's basically the day 1 of the bleeding, it can last until day 7. It's not really good idea to go for a marathon run, right? Or do anything that is strenuous, because in this moment, the sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone, are extremely low, and you therefore better indulge just in walking, yin yoga, that's a slow feminine yoga, or maybe some stretching. Then from the day 7 to 14, you are building into the follicular phase 2. And in this phase, you probably observe that the estrogen is going up, the body temperature is going down, and you have less sugar cravings. You actually don't need to eat that much, and you have quite a lot of energy. So that is a good time to do running, hiking, high intensity interval training, because estrogen is like testosterone for men. It's basically anabolic hormone. It's building. So it's building the muscle, it's building the strength, it's building your self-esteem, your confidence, everything, right? There needs to be a healthy level of estrogen, not skyrocketing. And then you get to ovulation. So this is usually between the day 14 and 17. And preferably you would want to know whether you are ovulating from the right or the left ovary. And in this time, you kind of know that the libido is skyrocketing and you have a maximum amount of energy. So again, you stick to all the cardio exercises, Zumba, you name it. And the same goes for the luteal phase, because after the ovulation, basically when the egg went down through the follicular tubes, it bursts, and there is a corpus luteum, and corpus luteum is going to produce progesterone. Progesterone is amazing hormone, and unfortunately women make mistakes by just thinking on estrogen and they don't control their levels of progesterone. Well, I would interpret your blood test results and I will tell you exactly where you stand and which supplements and food you need to eat to improve these levels. But back to progesterone. So progesterone is called pregnancy hormone because during the pregnancy, this hormone is skyrocketing. And that's where usually women who, for example, had even psoriasis or acne or any issues with their body, everything disappears and they feel amazing, right? So we want progesterone. But if you are on a synthetic pill, you are not ovulating, you don't have progesterone, and you don't have these feelings at all. And if you are perimenopausal and menopausal, you already are decreasing the progesterone because you also don't ovulate on a regular basis. But there are ways how you can bring it up with the hormone yoga therapy. And luteal phase number 2 is basically when you are approaching the menstrual cycle. If you have misfiring hormones, if you have fibroids, endometriosis, if you have a premenstrual syndrome, headaches, migraines, your hormones are out of balance. And in this phase, you will feel it the most. So again, for exercise, it is not good idea to do any cardio. Stick again to walking, yin yoga, stretching. This is a creative part of the cycle, and you maybe want to be just on your own and reflect about your life. For men, it's much easier because every man knows when they have a sufficient amount of testosterone. They know it in the morning because upon waking up, their cortisol levels are skyrocketing. And so is testosterone. So woo, they go up, right? So every man knows, even without any sexual stimulation, whether they have a healthy levels of cortisol or testosterone or not. So for men, you can see it's brilliant to do the exercise in the morning or maybe even lunchtime, but not really in the evening, because in the evening, when the darkness hits the retina, the melatonin, the sleep hormone, gets released, and melatonin suppresses the cortisol and therefore decreases the testosterone. Yeah. So let's look at the example of my workout plan. So remember, you always need to have some rest days. But the rest day, for example, for me is even the yoga flow or walking with friends. Yeah. So I try to implement running at least twice a week, and then once a week, a really good hike, 20-30 kilometers with some running in between that. And otherwise, because I'm quite a lazy person, I turned everything into a business, and I have private clients that come for yoga. Therefore, I must exercise every single day with them, but I also love doing it. And it's a yoga flow at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I do the hormone yoga therapy, which is 90 minutes of a special exercises to improve the thermogenesis with the exercise. And if you would want to know more about this, you can check the workshops that I do once a month, or you can schedule a short call to see whether this would be good for you. And you can also have private sessions with me. Here, I want to share with you what happens if I don't get a good sleep. So I have an Aura ring, and you can get a 50% discount on the Aura ring if you have a VIP package with me. And then you can track all about you as well. So this is a 3rd generation, it's the best one. Yeah? And I have it even with the membership. So on the 16th of June, my friend Martina came from the Czech Republic, but her flight was 4 hours late and it arrived at 1 o'clock in the night. So before we got home and I just lied to bed, it was too late because normally I go to sleep at 11. Remember, sleeping is very important. You must have minimum 7 to 9 hours of a good night's sleep going through all the 4 stages. If you want to know more about sleep, I have a special workshop about this, how to do it. But you can see that I did not go through all the stages. In fact, I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, and then at 6 o'clock, I got only into a light sleep, and at 6:30, I was up ready to teach yoga. So the total sleep of 8 hours is not enough. My clock, you can see on the second slide, is already saying 67% of being like ready. Pay attention, this is not good. Why it wasn't good? Because I got only 18 minutes of REM, so rapid eye movement. This is a phase when you are consolidating from the short-term memory into the long-term memory. This is the time when you are dreaming, but the dreams are absolutely crazy. It's like your mom is having sex with your German teacher and they are getting married in Japan and they speak Japanese, like a total nonsense of people that would never meet together. It's just total craziness. And in this time, the only muscle is the rapid eye movement. It's in your eye. The rest of the body is paralyzed. And why? Because you would, for example, jump from the window because you would be running away from the tiger, right? So the body is protecting you. And you need minimum 1.5 hours of REM sleep every single night. So I totally failed in here. I was only 2 hours in a deep sleep and there was just a mess. So what do you think it had impact on my hormones? So you can see on the third picture that I was actually having menstruation a couple of days before that because my temperature went down. Every time when the temperature comes, the temperature when the period comes, the temperature goes down, down, down. But on the day, you can see that my temperature went slightly up. So it totally messed up the natural rhythm of my hormones. And on the last picture, you can see, because I'm very well trained, I'm kind of like athletic. Usually my resting heart rate is around 42, 43. When I have a bad sleep, when I overtrain, it goes up. And here it went to 49, which is massive for me in a resting heart rate. So it's not good at all. This would have impact on absolutely everything. So let's say that this got me into a vicious cycle. I had a poor memory, lack of concentration. I was irritated. I had to be really careful how I talk to my friend the day after, how I talk to my clients, and how I motivate myself to make presentations like this if I have a headache and feel absolutely terrible. Would I go for a run? No, because I did not have energy. Already making yoga in the morning was a hustle for me. So performance is low, motivation is low. What do you think that I was eating? Well, I started with coffee and then I wanted something sweet. I was craving carbohydrates to make me happy because carbohydrates increase the serotonin and kind of play a little bit for a while with the tiredness. So not good at all. Misfiring hormones, insulin, cortisol, and the thermoregulation. So you see that sleep is massively important. And now imagine perimenopausal women or menopausal women that are going through all these signs and symptoms, which one of them is misfiring hormones and a lack of sleep, mood swings. They don't know why is all this happening, and there would be such an easy solution for them. But we get to the end of this presentation, and I just want to share with you that you can be healthy by choice. So being healthy, it's your choice. If you are living in the body that you don't like, if you don't like what your mind is doing, that is a result of the steps that you have been taking until now. So what are the key strategies that you can change? So first of all, you need a personalized dietary plan and workout plan. Because if you are trying to figure out everything on your own, it's like being without a GPS in a forest, totally lost, and taking every single path and doing the trial and error. So mastery is to find a person that has been there, that has the knowledge, and that has a proven strategic plan and is able to help you to uncover what you need. So I, for example, do this with my clients because I review their blood test results, I review their questionnaire, so based on the family history and their lifestyle, and I also look at all the pictures of everything that they eat so that we can co-create the plan together. Relaxation and sleep is very important. If you struggle with sleep and you don't know which relaxation techniques to implement, then just again talk to the professionals. So I, for example, teach the emotional freedom technique or the hormonal yoga and the yin yoga, so that you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, and you can sleep easily. And then if you don't love exercise, if you don't want to go to the gym, then just do the natural movement. So every step that you take outdoors is amazing. The last thing that I would want you to do is limit the screen time. So all the social media is just a bullshit. It's showing you how people live. Even I take their pictures of like amazing breakfast, and then you believe I eat like this every single day. Well, I actually do. but maybe I have something sweet after that, and I just don't show you, right? But I usually try to do very honest videos. But I know that people that I sometimes see, it's non-realistic. And this blue light, it has impact on us. So escort the mobile phone from your bedroom, switch it off at like 7 o'clock in the evening, and just grab a book and read. And the last thing, very often I hear, but you know, it's just so many things that I need to change and I don't know how and all of this. So don't wish for it to be easy. Wish that you were better, and you can get better by first being consistent in your actions, the small steps, and disciplined. So it's by doing it, and then you become it, and then you are being it. You are that person. You don't have to force yourself into it. And if you want to know how to do all of this, I have online course, Eat Clean, Get Lean. I have a mastermind, Unlock the Secrets of Anti-Aging. I have the Hormone Yoga Therapy course. I do the workshops. So just ask for help, because who doesn't ask doesn't have.